Today we are going to talk about how to use essential oils during and after cancer and how we used essential oils for my son throughout his cancer diagnosis. And I'll get into a little bit of our story as we get going, but I just want to encourage you that this is hopefully something that is going to leave you guys feeling totally educated, totally empowered, and able to walk away feeling like you can take back a little bit of control. Now, let me say something also. This is not just for people who are walking through cancer or who are maybe giving care to someone who is walking through cancer. This is going to be appropriate really for anyone. It's going to be beneficial to anyone. So stay tuned. Even if you don't have cancer or maybe you're not caring for someone that does, I promise you will still get something out of this. So first, I know this is tough for me, but I want you to do your best to quiet all of your distractions. You know, I have found myself with kids and working from home and just running household duties that it can be really difficult to take time for myself and listen to a podcast or have some quiet time reading. And so what I recommend that you do is shut off your emails, like actually go in and quit your email on your computer so that you don't even get notified when they pop up. Turn the volume on your phone off, put it to the side, and just take this time of quiet to learn. And again, empower yourself with knowledge. So tell me, does this resonate with you at all? Are you tired of feeling sick, run down, and just weak? Do you feel like cancer, or maybe it's not cancer, maybe it's a different illness you're struggling with. Maybe it's adrenal fatigue. Maybe it's thyroid disorder. But do you feel like it's taken over your life? It's all you talk about. It's all you think about. Do you wish that there was a simple tool that you could use to improve your well-being? And this is something, you guys, that as a mom who's walked with her son with cancer, every day in the beginning, I would just wish there was something simple to either make it all better or, of course, make it all go away. And we know that nothing's going to make it all go away. But there are so many tools out there to improve our well-being. So you have no idea where to even start or how to begin getting the information that you need. And likely your doctor probably hasn't talked about these options. And understand that our doctor's role is to make us better. But the best way they know how to do that is with medicine. And there is a need for that. But when we're talking about alternative complementary therapies that could help us thrive, that's when we have to take it into our own hands. So you might know that there is hope. Maybe you've been following our journey and you've seen how my son has thrived. But you just need to know where to look and where to start and what options are out there. So I want to assure you guys, you truly are in the right place. And like I said before, I'm so glad you are here. And I know that when we are done today, you are going to feel educated and empowered. And again, I am so grateful that you trusted me to share this information with you guys. So thank you. Thank you again for being here. So we are going to do a Q&A at the end, okay? And so as questions come up through this webinar, will you please type them into the question area so that you don't forget your questions, and then at the end, hopefully, I will have time to get through all of your questions. So again, we're going to do questions at the end, and stay tuned till the end because I have a gift for you. All right, so a little bit about our story. You know, it's kind of funny how as we get older in life, we start to recognize God's hand in our life, and you know, just the timeliness of things as they happen. So it was kind of interesting that when my son Kicker, who's pictured here, when he was born, I actually decided to go back to school. I had already graduated as a nutritional therapy, or I'm sorry, I had graduated from college with my bachelor's in communications, and I was actually thinking I was going to pursue some sort of a job in the entertainment industry. And that, of course, changed as my dreams and my goals had shifted, and I became really interested in health. So I went back to school when Kicker was born to become a nutritional therapy practitioner. And this picture is actually when we were on a break. He came with me to one of my weekend classes where I had gone to do clinicals, and he had come with me. So we had gone out and taken a break together. And so after I went to school, I opened a practice, a private practice for nutritional therapy. It was a thriving practice. I mean, at one point, I remember I was about 3 months out on taking new clients, and it was just an incredible opportunity to work with people and support their health goals and challenges. So it was December 4th of 2013, and many of you know already a little bit of our story, but that was the day our lives truly shifted forever. And this picture is Kicker in the hospital on December 4th when he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So you can imagine at this point the devastation we were experiencing. But along with that, I began to question everything I know and that I had been taught up until that point. So maybe you are walking through an illness and you feel like, my gosh, I feel like I've done everything right. Why am I dealing with this? Well, rest assured, I've been there and I get it. And I truly questioned everything. It was super devastating. Here I had a private practice where my job was to educate people on how to prevent cancer. And my own son was diagnosed with it. So I questioned. I was angry. I was bitter. How is this possible? How is my precious little boy, who ate so well and had really just done so well in life up until right before he turned 3 when he was diagnosed, how is this possible that we're walking through cancer? Again, I had all of this knowledge and all of this experience in alternative healthcare. And at this point, it was totally shaken. So there was somebody, and I don't even remember to this day who it was. It could have been someone on here on this call today that shared this quote with me. I am not what happened to me, but I am what I chose to become. And this is a really powerful statement. And it was when I received this message, and again, I don't even remember who it was from. Whoever that was, I thank you, because this is where my mind shifted. And I realized, okay, this diagnosis is devastating, and it could wreck our life. We could let this completely wreck our life. But I'm going to make a choice, and I'm going to choose to become something greater from this. And I'm going to choose to help other people. And so it was when we were in the hospital and we were sitting there, and my sister, who was amazing, who really inspired my journey in alternative health, her and our friend Pamela, who's a naturopath, they came into the hospital. It was maybe the second or third day we were in there with Kicker, and they brought us essential oils. And they said, this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it. Now, understand, up until this point, I had no idea about essential oils. When I had my private practice as a nutritionist, people would ask me about them. I didn't know a lot about them. I had never studied them, and I had actually never used them. So up until this point, I hadn't really experienced or used or studied essential oils. But upon a life-threatening diagnosis, you are likely willing to try anything to help yourself or your loved one. Am I right? So they brought these oils in. I immediately followed their instructions, started using them on my son. We started diffusing them in the hospital room, and ironically, the hospital room turned into the nurses' station. The nurses loved coming in and hanging out with us. They just thought the room was so relaxing. It smelled so good. It was calming. And that's when our journey of essential oils began. Now, as a nutritionist, my background and my education was understanding how food and supplementation and detox can affect and improve the systems of the body. But again, I didn't know a whole lot about oils. And so as a cancer mom, I was immediately surrounded by a group of other cancer moms walking through this journey. And they were reaching out to me saying, Season, we've heard your story about how your son is thriving. He's doing so well through this. How can we help our child do the same? And so about 3 months into this journey with Kicker and his cancer diagnosis, he's getting inundated with chemotherapy and surgeries and all kinds of toxic medications that are playing a role, don't get me wrong, but his little body is inundated and he is thriving. He's doing amazing. He's not vomiting. He doesn't have a lot of the side effects that they expected him to have. He wasn't even losing his hair. And so, of course, we're blogging our journey, and I'm sharing with these moms and trying to teach them how to help their child eat better. And I really quickly realized, and you might resonate with this, when you're going through a health challenge, eating well is such a tough thing to do because A, you don't have very much energy to cook. B, it can be expensive, right? And C, it sounds kind of daunting and your taste buds have maybe changed. But understand, food is the foundation, and I will be doing more webinars on food specifically. But that's what I knew. So I was teaching these families, and they weren't really receptive to that. They said, but our child is throwing up every hour on the hour. How can we help support them? And so that was when I said, you know what? I need to learn. I need to study these essential oils and see what role they're playing in my son's health. And I tried to find a picture to share with you guys of one day my husband took this picture of me sitting on the floor, and I had about 55 textbooks around me and medical journals all about essential oils, and I was studying. And it was that day that I realized this could be a tool that anybody could use because it's so simple. Somebody invited me to go learn at a conference the whole conference was focused on essential oils, and I said yes. And this post that you see on the screen is a picture of me at that conference. And actually, I'm sorry, the picture on the left is my keyboard with some essential oils. And you guys, you can see by the text in my comment on Instagram how elated I was about what I was learning. I was so stoked to see and to hear that these oils play a massive role in our health. And right away, I said yes to going and learning, and then I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I immediately started teaching. This is a picture of me teaching my very first essential oils class. And I think there were like 30 people in the room, and I was a little intimidated, but I was so convicted that I needed to teach. And that's why I'm here today, because you guys, I have recognized that these essential oils are the gateway drug to health. That's what I call them. I call them a gateway drug to health because they're so easy to use, and it helps inspire people to take even bigger steps in their health. So here's my family, and again, you see a picture of my son on the right, Kicker, and on the left. He is my why. He's why I started doing this and why we're talking today about cancer and about how to use these oils to support your body. It's my amazing husband, Josh, and my daughter, Selah. And again, it's really powerful to see how well we've done through this, and I'm excited to share that with you. So today, what are you going to learn? You are going to learn what essential oils are and how they work. We're going to talk about which essential oils to use for specific symptoms. We're going to talk about 3 ways to safely and effectively use essential oils, how to easily incorporate essential oils into your daily routine, and lastly, which essential oils you should not use and how to ensure your essential oils are pure, therapeutic, and safe. So my disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. Please know this information is for educational purposes only. Of course, consult with your physician before starting or stopping any prescription medication, but also before starting or stopping any protocol. And I put this picture here. It's actually my brother-in-law, who is a physician, Dr. Charles Pinnock. And so he wants to make sure that you know to check with your doctor before making any changes to your health protocol. And furthermore, I want to point this out. Essential oils will not cure cancer. Man, I wish they would. I wish it was that simple. And you know what else? They're not going to treat your disease. I wish they would. I wish that we had a little bottle of oil and it would make everything go away. But it's not going to happen. Now, essential oils will support your immune system. They will improve your energy. They are going to support your ability to detoxify. And one of my favorite uses of essential oils is they're going to be able to balance your emotions. So what are essential oils? Now I love this picture because it shows you a peppermint leaf. And on the left, you see the purple picture. That is a close-up of the peppermint leaf. And those little white sacs, those are where the essential oil is hiding and stored. And those thorns, this is again beautiful God's design in nature, those thorns are actually there to protect the most precious part of the plant. So an essential oil is actually a natural aromatic compound from plants. Their job is to protect the plant and keep it healthy. So virtually the essential oil is the plant's immune system. And we decided, researchers years ago, well gosh, if they protect the plant, how could they not protect us? And that's when we discovered that you can actually use essential oils to protect and keep us healthy as well. Now, it's important to understand the difference between an essential oil and the dried counterpart, the herb. Okay, essential oils are 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. And an example is 1 drop of peppermint, which is on your screen here. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they are far more powerful and potent and concentrated. You don't need more than 1 to 2 drops. Now, how do essential oils work? This all sounds great, but I want to know, how do they work? And you guys, because of my background and just my mind being more science focused, I needed to make sure that they did work, that there was some legitimacy to how they work in the body, and that it wasn't just another make you feel good thing. And that's when I shared with you that picture that I was trying to find of me researching, and I was totally blown away. And I want you to understand this next picture, how essential oils work at the cellular level. Now, this is where we had our aha moment. My son was told when we were diagnosed, when he received his diagnosis of cancer, he was told he'd be hospitalized up to 10 times in the first 1.5 years of treatment. And that hospitalization would be from opportunistic infection. It would be from the fact that his immune system was so incredibly compromised because of the medication and the treatment. And we all know that. We all know someone who's going through some sort of a treatment, whether it's cancer or an autoimmune disease. We know that oftentimes the treatment can be really harsh and wreck the immune system. So with us, I was so determined to keep him out of the hospital. One of the things that we started doing immediately was we were using an immune blend, and I will show you what that blend is in just a minute, on his feet and our feet every single day. And it was when I was researching that day on the floor, that was the first day of my research. I still research daily, never stop learning. But it was that day that I had my aha moment, and I was looking at a picture of a cell. Now the picture was much more in depth. This is more of a simple picture to give you the idea. But here's what you need to understand. That thick purple layer on the outside of the cell, that's the cell membrane. That is what protects the inside of a cell, okay? Now, that cell membrane is made of fat, okay? So it is a fat wall. Now, if you have a threat going on in your body that's beginning in the cell, and you go to your physician and you say, oh my goodness, I feel awful, I don't feel well, I don't know what's going on, but can you give me something? And they do a little bit of research and they say, you know what, unfortunately, the threat that you're dealing with is not something I can give you a medication for. And so you leave, you don't feel any better, you're still feeling terrible, but you don't have anything to do. Now let me break that down and explain a little bit. The reason they didn't give you anything for that particular threat was because a lot of pharmaceutical drugs are hydrophilic, meaning they're made with water, okay? Now, that is important in some cases, and we're not going to talk about that today, but they're called hydrophilic, meaning they're water-based. So if your physician gave you a water-based drug to help support what was going on the inside of your cell that was the threat, that's not going to help. And I'm guessing some of you more science-minded people out there are understanding why. It's because water and oil or water and fat do not mix. And if that cell membrane has a fat wall protecting the outside of it and the threats on the inside, a water-based substance is not going to be able to penetrate that cell and get in and get rid of the threat. But what does mix with fat? Another fat. An essential oil, you guys, is a lipid, which means it's a fat. And this is where I was just blown away. And I thought, oh my goodness, here we are using these oils proactively every day on all of us. And now I understand why it's been almost 3 years of our cancer journey, and my son has not been hospitalized one time. Not once. And again, I want to back up and remind you, it's not because the essential oils are curing his cancer or even treating his cancer. It's because we've taken tools like essential oils and diet and detox to support his body through this journey. and to keep his immune system integrous so that he can live and thrive, even going through something like this. Now, this is a cool picture because most of you have heard of aromatherapy. Okay, so not only do essential oils work at the cellular level by applying them topically, but when you inhale the aroma of an oil, you immediately can benefit. And so without getting too sciencey, I want you to just look at this picture and recognize the picture of the rose. So this person is smelling a rose, and inside your nasal cavity, you have a ton of olfactory receptors. Okay, your olfactory system is the system in your body that processes the sense of smell. So when you smell something, those receptors pick up that scent and they send a message to the limbic system. The limbic system, if you look here, is directly connected to the olfactory system. So when you smell something, a message is sent to your limbic system and your body responds. Now, if you think about, let's say this, you look at this picture, an apple pie reminds me, the smell of an apple pie reminds me of my grandma. So think for a minute about something that you smell. If you walk into a room or you're around someone, you smell something and it triggers a memory. It's because of your limbic system, which is the part of your brain that processes emotional response, memory. The limbic system is directly connected to your olfactory system. So that is why when you smell something, you can be triggered a response. It might be a bad response, but it might be a good response. So this is how, a very simple explanation of how essential oils can also work aromatically. Now, speaking of that, aromatically is one of 3 ways that we can use essential oils. Okay, so we can ingest essential oils, we can inhale them, and we can use them on the skin. So let's first talk about aromatically, since that's what we were just discussing. This here is a picture of 4 different diffusers. Now, a diffuser is a device that basically uses a vapor to get the essential oil molecules into the air. It doesn't use heat. I'm not even going to describe the system it uses, but basically it's a device that is able to get the essential oil molecules into the air so you can smell it, and it's benefiting you just by the inhalation. An example, a lot of times when you are during this time of the year where there's a lot of things going around, a lot of germs, kids are sharing lots of stuff, right? It's officially November 1st is the official start of cold and flu season. I think that it is not ironic that that falls after Halloween, with the day that we gorge ourselves on sugar, but that's another topic. So cold and flu season starts on November 1st. This is the time that we diffuse On Guard or clove, some protective oils in the diffuser so that it's getting into the air and getting rid of threats. Now, another thing that we do is we diffuse essential oils while we're sleeping to help support restful sleep. I have a fun recipe for you guys for that in a minute. We also diffuse essential oils to help with energy. When I'm in my office, like I am right now, I have wild orange and peppermint diffusing, and it helps energize me and keep me going. Topically, this is a very simple way, and you guys are starting to hopefully recognize how simple this really can be. You can use essential oils topically. Now, the way that you do this is you would use the essential oil on the area of concern or the bottoms of feet. Now, the reason that you would want to do it on the bottoms of your feet is your feet are not sensitive, so it's a good place to apply oils when you're maybe using it with a little one or someone with sensitive skin. But the other reason, you have a lot of reflex points on your feet, and they're very absorbent. So when you apply an oil onto your feet, studies have shown that the oil begins servicing every cell in your body within 45 seconds. That's crazy, and it's so fascinating to me. So when you're applying an oil topically, it's a good idea to always dilute the essential oil with a carrier oil. And I use coconut oil. It's especially on little ones. 1 to 2 drops of oil to maybe a teaspoon of carrier oil is a good idea. And again, you're going to apply it directly on the area of concern and or bottoms of feet. Now, I like this picture here on the right. You see those are roller bottles, and that is one way to make it really easy to use your essential oils, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. Now, lastly, and you guys please understand this is specific to doTERRA essential oils, which is the company that we use and educate on. You can internalize essential oils. Now, I want you to understand something though. If you look at this picture on the left, this gal is making a gel cap. She's filling a capsule, a veggie cap. She's filling it with essential oils that she's planning to ingest. Now on the right is a picture of an essential oil bottle that has an essential oil supplements label. Now the reason for this is it tells you that you can ingest this oil. If it has a supplement label, you can ingest it. Ingesting and internalizing oils is a really great way to help support immune system function, help support digestion, and deal with any threats that you have going on, maybe in your gut area. Now, I like this chart. This is provided by doTERRAScienceblog.com. And on this chart, you see that the physician on board with our company has put together an ideal amount for children and adults to internalize daily. So this is something that's important to reference. You can take a quick screenshot of this so that you can use this when you are using essential oils internally. Now, you do not have to use essential oils internally. I know some people, even some people that I've worked with and consulted with and done wellness consults with, they just don't feel comfortable doing that. And that is totally fine. You will still get benefits using them topically and aromatically. Now, are you ready? We're going to get into the grit of this. These are the essential oils that we use daily, and just some of them, because I think this webinar could have probably gone on for, I don't know, hours if I told you every single one we use daily. But this is giving you an idea of the main important ones to start with. So if we're talking about cancer or any other illness that you are walking through that has side effects from maybe the illness or the treatment plan, here are some essential oils we use to support side effects. Now, I know this is really common, especially when you're dealing with cancer. Upset stomach and nausea. It is so icky, and we've been so fortunate to have this tool to use so that my son has felt really well and hasn't dealt with this. Even when he wakes up from anesthesia and he wakes up from his procedures, we put a little bit of peppermint on his belly and then we let him smell it. I put it on my hands and I cup my hands over his face, and it helps wake him up and it helps control any upset stomach. So Digest Zen is a digestive blend, ginger and or peppermint. Now I want you to recognize something. We're going to walk through a few of these and you're going to notice there's more than one oil recommended. Does that mean you need to use all three? Nope. You can just start with one. And understand as well that everyone is biochemically individual. So what works perfect for Kicker might be different for Sarah. Okay, so Sarah might do well with Digestin, whereas Kicker does well with peppermint. So don't be overwhelmed thinking you need every single oil that you see. To start, you can just start with one. Now this is another big one, connective tissue and muscle discomfort. This is tough, especially in little ones who want to be active and they want to run around and their legs hurt or their jaw hurts and they have this discomfort in their muscles and their connective tissue. So we recommend using cypress, deep blue, and frankincense. And the way I use them is I make a blend and I do a drop of each on my hand, rub my hands together and rub it over my son's legs. It works so well and so quickly. And you know, this would be very beneficial for any connective tissue and muscle discomfort. When I recently started working out at a CrossFit gym, and my goodness, I had muscles that I had never felt before. So I've been using this combination a lot to help support healthy connective tissue and get rid of that discomfort. Head discomfort and tension. You know, I've learned since I've been studying that most of the time that we have any discomfort in our head and any tension in our head, and I know some of you may deal with that on an extreme basis, it is a result of inflammation. And I learned that in school, and that was one of the first things that we studied was the inflammatory process of the body. These essential oils that I have pictured here, basil, frankincense, and peppermint, are wonderful for supporting a healthy inflammatory system. So to help the body remove the inflammation, which in turn is going to get rid of the discomfort. So I will take a drop of each of these and I'll apply it to my temples and to the back of my neck. Again, you might just need basil or you might just need frankincense. Another trick is you can put a drop of each of these oils on your thumb and press your thumb up against the roof of your mouth. That has been super effective for people. Elevated temperature. Now, if you know anyone who has gone through treatment for cancer, you know that part of the treatment plan is they inject the body with chemotherapy. Now, chemotherapy is a very toxic drug. Again, does it play a role? I do believe it does play a role in some cancers, and I believe it's played a role in my son's healing. But it's a toxin, regardless of how well of a role it's played, it is a toxin. Your job, or I'm sorry, your body's job was designed perfectly with the systems in place to help get rid of toxins. And one of the body's responses to toxins is to rise in temperature. When your body rises in temperature, it is basically trying to kick out the bad guys. And that's how we teach kicker, that he's kicking out the bad guys when his temperature goes up. And so oftentimes after he has had a treatment, his temperature goes up. And we are pretty comfortable knowing when it's a temperature that is in response to a treatment and his body doing its job trying to kick out the toxins. And so when it's that, we take a drop of lavender, a drop of peppermint, and a drop of lime, and we rub it down his spine. And we do it on the bottoms of his feet. And we can do that every 30 minutes until we recognize that his temperature has normalized. This has helped keep us out of the hospital unnecessarily. Now again, remember, you do want to consult with your physician before starting or stopping any protocols. But this is one that we have felt has been incredibly helpful. And I use it on all of us. Anytime we have an elevated temperature, we use this combination and we do it every 30 minutes until the temperature normalizes. Now this is a big one. This is both for the caregiver and for the patient. Restful sleep. This is super, super important. In order for your body to properly heal, you need to be able to rest. And that is the foundation of healing, is resting. And so understanding this concept, you guys, is foundational in supporting health. And I know if you're walking through cancer or you're walking through any type of a health challenge, rest is interrupted. I love this combination. I use it on my pillow and in my diffuser. And when I'm traveling and maybe I'm more restless, I will also apply it to the bottoms of my feet. Balance, which is a grounding blend, Serenity, which is a restful blend, and cedarwood, which is a wonderful oil to help support calm and rest. And it smells, I think it smells amazing. Now, what about fatigue? That's a big one. And I know for a lot of us, low energy is so frustrating because we have so much to do in the day. I know for me, again, I'm a mom and I have a child with cancer and I have a very happy and active 7-year-old daughter who loves to play. And on top of all of that, I cook almost every meal and I work from home. So I need to have a lot of energy. And when I'm not feeling well, oh my goodness, so much does not get accomplished. These have been my saving grace. Okay. I mean, honestly, people will ask me like, so if you had to do one thing, what would you do? Well, for everybody's different, but for me, I can't live without these. Wild orange, number one. That is the go-to. A little bit of wild orange, I told you, mixed with peppermint, done and done. My energy level is up and I'm feeling great. Before I go to the gym, I use a little Motivate and Elevation. Before I got on this call, I used a little bit of all three to help my energy level. Now, this is another one. And again, if you've followed our journey at all on social media, you have seen me post about this so many countless times. I did not understand or know what anxiety was until my son was diagnosed with cancer. In fact, to the point where I would have clients when I was in private practice come to me with anxiety being their main concern. And I knew how to support it with supplements and with diet, but I couldn't relate. It was, it's one of those things that when you hear it's going on with someone, you just can't wrap your head around it. That's how I felt until, of course, I dealt with it on my own. I reached out to one of our friends and team members and had asked her months and months ago, what do you recommend I use for myself and for my son before he goes into his treatments to calm his anxiety and his stress level for both of us? And she recommended these 4 oils. And can I just tell you that it has been a life-changing addition. The first time I used it on my son, mind you, when he goes into his appointments, they're taking a big needle, shoving it into his chest to access his portacath. That, no matter how old you are, is very traumatizing and upsetting. And so he would scream bloody murder at the top of his lungs. And the first time I used this combination, I put it on about 30 minutes before his appointment, and I put it on right before his appointment on the back of his neck is where I put it. The nurse actually asked me if I had given him Benadryl because she couldn't believe how calm he was. And I looked at her funny, like, are you kidding me, lady? You think I would give him Benadryl? I'm known as the hippie cancer mom among the hospital staff. He was so calm, it was phenomenal. Now, recently, we started to change up that combination. We've been using it for about 1.5 years, and his last appointment was pretty upsetting. And so I've reached out to do a little bit more research to find some other blends that we could add in to help. But for me and for him, this has been a game changer. And real quick, let me point out helichrysum. You see that oil there? One of the benefits of that in this blend, I study the emotional benefits of helichrysum. It improves feelings of confidence. And that is so important when you're dealing with anxiety. So let's talk about detoxification. This is a picture here of Kicker doing his detox using his essential oils and some castor oil. So the first thing that we recommend using daily over your liver and kidneys are the following 3 oils: zendocrine, cilantro, helichrysum, and geranium. Now, helichrysum and geranium, you see that actually let's talk about that for a minute. Helichrysum, let's speak about helichrysum. I just showed you on the screen before that it helps with feelings of confidence. Well, it also helps detoxify. So you've probably recognized by now that quite a few of these oils we've said for more than one support. They play more than one role. And that is the beauty of a natural compound, is that one oil can serve hundreds of purposes. And that's incredible, right? So now you don't need to have an essential oil for every health challenge that you're walking through because one can serve multiple purposes. So these are the 4 oils: zendocrine, cilantro, helichrysum, and geranium that we recommend using daily over liver and kidneys for detoxification. Now, this is a wonderful thing to do, and this is, again, you guys remember, even if you're not walking through cancer, all of these techniques are super helpful. We all need to support detoxification. So a detox bath, we use rosemary, juniper berry. Those are both phenomenal for detoxification. We add Epsom salt and baking soda and a little bit of coconut oil to the bath. This is wonderful for pulling out toxins, and it's very restful. These 4 oils we highly recommend ingesting. If you are comfortable with ingesting oils, these 4 alternating, putting them in your water throughout the day is a wonderful and actually pretty tasty way to detox. Lemon, grapefruit, wild orange, and frankincense. 1 drop in about 16 ounces of water, and doing that throughout the day is really, really supportive of your detox system. Now, what about healthy cells in your immune system? So this, remember, let's back up to the very beginning when I shared with you that the naturopath and my sister came into the hospital room and said, Season, these are the oils to use and this is how to use it. And then remember I showed you the picture of the cell and I told you that there was a blend that we were using every day on all of our feet to support our health. This is that blend. Frankincense, lemon, melaleuca, on guard. Now, oregano is listed here and it has a little asterisk. The reason for that is oregano is an oil that is so incredibly strong and therapeutic. You only want to use it when you're under the weather, when there's a threat going on that you need to combat. So for us, when we're traveling or maybe we've been around someone that wasn't well, I will use the blend with oregano and I'll use it for about 5 to 7 days. And then I have another blend that I have that doesn't have oregano that I use every single day. So the blend that we're talking of, and you see this is actually a picture of my sister holding up the blend. What we do is we use all of these different essential oils and we put it in a roller bottle, those empty ones that I've showed you throughout the screen, and then we top it off with fractionated coconut oil. Now, if you're working with a little one, 2 or under, you only need 2 drops of each oil in a 10 milliliter roller bottle, and the rest would be coconut oil. So it's very diluted. For an adult, I recommend more. I say between 10 and 20 drops of each. Now, do some research on your own, find what you feel comfortable with, but in general, it's a good idea to use 1 to 2 drops of each of these daily on the bottoms of your feet and only bring in oregano when you've been exposed to someone that's not well or you're not well yourself. This is incredibly important and beneficial. DDR prime. DDR stands for damaged DNA repair. This is an essential oil cellular complex that's a blend of frankincense, wild orange, lemongrass, thyme, summer savory, clove, and nioli. I think I said that right. You guys, this is such a powerful blend of essential oils to support healthy DNA. And we know no matter what health challenge you're going through, it is a result of damaged DNA, right? Somewhere in the process, DNA was damaged. I recommend anybody take this. We take it every single day. Kicker, of course, takes it 2 times a day. It's a gel cap. Comes in a gel cap. You can just swallow with your meals. It also comes in an oil bottle. So if you maybe have a child or you yourself are more like my husband and you have a very hard time swallowing pills, you could just use the oil and rub it on the bottoms of your feet and your spine. Now this is our super power blend, okay? Superpowers. We tell Kicker that this blend and a lot of the healthy foods he eats, we tell him that this is what gives him superpowers. So we call this the superpower cell blend in honor of Kicker. This is a combination of frankincense, sandalwood, myrrh, and lemongrass. And you guys, there have been countless studies done on these 4 oils showing the incredible superpowers they have against unwanted, unhealthy cells. And in the honor of being compliant and not speaking out of terms, because again, this is educational, I'm not a physician, I'm not going to get into specifics, but I challenge you to research this on your own. You will be blown away. So we use this daily on the bottoms of our feet and the area of concern. So with Kicker, because of what he's dealing with, we felt that it was appropriate to put it on his spine and the bottoms of the feet. If somebody's dealing with some unhealthy cells, maybe in their breast tissue or in their abdomen, we would tell them to apply it there and on the bottoms of the feet. Now, let's get into what oils you want to make sure you are and are not using. Not all oils are created equal. And this is so important to understand, especially, I don't know if you guys have noticed, like I have, every freaking store is carrying essential oils. I went into Best Buy the other day, and they have essential oils in Best Buy. Now, I am a bit of a conscious shopper in the aspect that I recognize quality over quantity. I grew up with a mom who took us to Nordstrom at an early age, and so I, of course, always used the mentality of Nordstrom versus Walmart when you're talking about, let's say, clothes. If you buy something at Nordstrom, it is likely going to be more expensive, but it's also going to be higher quality than if you did at Walmart. Now, I've gotten things at Walmart, so don't think I'm hating on anybody who loves Walmart. I'm just using the example of quality over quantity. The same as with oils. And guys, we are talking about more than clothes. We're talking about a substance that we are going to be using on a regular basis to support our body. It has to be verified pure. It must be beyond organic, free of pesticides and contaminants, plant materials that are sourced from native origins, and third-party testing to ensure that all of the above is correct. So this is why I decided to only use, and I mean exclusively use and educate on doTERRA. One of the first things that I recognized was when you're understanding the chemistry and the chemical compounds of a plant and the oils, it is of the utmost importance that those plants are sourced from native origins. And without getting too complex here, just to understand this. When you grow, okay, if you know wine, you know that you don't grow Chardonnay in the same area that Zinfandel grows because it's not going to produce a very good tasting or pure, complete Chardonnay, right? Well, it's the same with essential oils. If you grow lavender domestically here in the States, for example, it's not the best environment for lavender. In fact, lavender is more indigenous or native to Europe. We grow our lavender in Bulgaria and in France. And that is going to produce a complete plant. When you're in the environment to produce a complete plant, now you have the most pure and therapeutic oil. Okay, so understand that. And then secondly, the reason it's beyond organic is if you look at our bottles, you will not see it says organic, you guys. In fact, it doesn't say organic anywhere on the bottle. Here's why. We grow some of our oils in Haiti, in France, in Italy. We grow our oils in Africa, in Nepal. We have our peppermint comes from Washington State. We have oils that come from Australia. So we have oils, again, we're sourcing in the native origins. Haiti has totally different organic standards than America, right? So if we just said organic, that's not doing anybody justice. So we have our own label, which stands for Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And that means that every batch has to be verified pure, beyond organic, free of pesticides and contaminants, and of course, third-party tested. And guys, when we're dealing with cancer, we're not taking any chances, okay? We have to make sure that we are using only pure, potent therapeutic oils. Now, don't just take my word for it. There are plenty of science and resources out there for you to dig into and do your own research. The doTERRA Science blog is a wonderful place. aromaticscience.com has tons of scientific information and studies. PubMed.gov, you'll find all kinds of fascinating research and studies as well. I personally love the Modern Essentials book and the Modern Essentials app. You can get your app on your smartphone, Modern Essentials, and learn tons of stuff. And then lastly, this is a really thick book, so only for geeks like me who really want to dig into understanding the chemistry. But The Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple by David Stewart is another wonderful read to understand really in depth how essential oils work. Now, is it that easy, right? What you just learned can make a massive impact on your health. And I am not saying that lightly, you guys. I am not. We as a family are thriving today. And I say we because you all know, whether you're walking through cancer on your own or maybe your own health challenge, the whole family suffers. It's not just one person. When one person's diagnosed, the whole family is diagnosed. And I want to show you that we are thriving. And this goes even further beyond just the health aspect. The essential oils, the diet, the detox that we have incorporated and that we have the tools to use have allowed us to live a healthy, normal life, despite the fact that my son is taking chemotherapy every single day. Some cool things, just so you can see, this is on social media. I'm on Instagram at Season Johnson, and I just took some clips because I want to illustrate to you guys in hopes of giving you hope. That look at what we are doing in spite of walking through cancer. With essential oils, I started educating and sharing about them and was able to retire my husband. He is home with us, and you can recognize, I mean, you probably hear me smiling talking about it. It's so exciting, but you can also recognize that when you get diagnosis like cancer or a health challenge, your perception of life changes. And we so bad want to spend quality time as a family. So we're doing that now. We have a nonprofit called Kick Cancer that is just growing and thriving, helping other people understand how to live a healthy life through cancer. We're really enjoying homeschooling and traveling with our children. And Kicker is doing amazing. So again, this is real life for us. Not every day is easy and not every day is perfectly pretty, but we are thriving. So let me ask you, why did you show up today? Was it because, sorry, I didn't mean to go forward that quickly. Was it because you have a need for improvement and you know there's something out there to help? That is most likely why you're here. You wanted to take a little bit of control back and you wanted to learn how you can either better support yourself or someone else. So the obvious question is, how can you get started feeling better? By using these certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. So my recommendation, some of you are already there. I bet a lot of you on this call already have a wholesale membership with doTERRA, which is amazing, and you could testify how wonderful it is. But my recommendation is that you become a wholesale member with doTERRA. Here's how that works. It's super simple, guys. Think Costco or Sam's Club, whatever you have in your area. The enrollment fee to be a wholesale member and to get wholesale pricing for an entire year is only $35, but that enrollment fee is waived if you enroll with the purchase of a kit, and I'll show you that option in a second. You get to earn points for free oils. You do not have to sell anything. That is only an optional benefit. You can order whenever you would like, and you have your own website to do so. There are no minimums or maximums. You do not have to spend a certain amount every month. If you do, you have access to all kinds of free oils, but you don't have to. And ultimately, as a wholesale member, you have access to a total savings of 55% off, which is pretty incredible. What I love about this, you guys, is you do not have to go get a script from a doctor to get your oils. That is what I mean when I talk about educating and empowering yourself to take your health into your own hands. Now, here's a bonus. This is only for those of you who join our team and you enroll with me today. You have access to weekly live Q&A calls with myself and our team leaders. We spend an entire hour on the phone answering your questions. It's actually over the internet. You can call in, you can join on by computer, and we have people ask every question you can imagine on how to use and best benefit from their essential oils. You will also have access to a private Facebook page to ask all of your questions, and you will be invited to our team's exclusive educational events, which we are currently, I'm so excited about this. I leave tomorrow morning. The whole month of November, I'm going to be traveling across the states. We are hosting customer appreciation events throughout the U.S. And the whole purpose of this, only our customers are invited, which would include you if you're going to join us today and become a part of our team. And we are going to just shower you with gratitude and with gifts and have a wonderful opportunity to celebrate you. So these customer appreciation events are exclusive to our team, and we are going to have them all over, and you will receive an invite as a part of our team. Now, this is super special, and this is a fast action bonus. This is not going to last very long. If you enroll today with the Home Essentials Kit, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second, you will receive two blends that I am making and giving to you. You are going to receive the Restful Sleep blend in a 10 milliliter bottle, which is the Balance, Serenity, and Cedarwood. You are also going to receive the Superpower Cell blend. That is frankincense, sandalwood, myrrh, and lemongrass. You will also, in addition to that, receive a free bottle of wild orange essential oil. And for the first 30 people, now this is, I can only make the complimentary wellness consult available to the first 30 people who enroll. And you guys, it's because of my time. You can imagine if all 200 people on this webinar decided that they wanted to enroll, I don't have time to do a private, really quality wellness consult with every single person. So that is only available to the first 30 people who enroll. So as we get into questions, I'm going to leave this screen up so you can see the specific instructions on how to enroll. If you do enroll with the Home Essentials Kit, this kit shown to the left is $275. It has 10 bottles of essential oil and a diffuser. It has frankincense, peppermint, lavender, digest zen, lemon, on Guard, Melaleuca, Oregano, Breathe, and Deep Blue. You will have your wholesale membership with doTERRA. If you're one of the first 30 people to do that, you will get the private wellness consult, and you will also, of course, be invited to our exclusive team events, have access to our weekly calls, and you will receive the items on the right. The Wild Orange, the 2 homemade blends that have the Restful Sleep blend and the Superpower blend. So all you have to do is go to this bottom link, bit.ly/doTERRA Season Johnson, and follow the instructions on how to enroll. So here are the specific instructions as we jump into your questions. I really want to take at least 10 minutes to answer your questions and to address any and all just concerns and questions that you have regarding what you learned today on the essential oils. So let's get in. I can see I have a child who was born with a genetic syndrome called, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Sadly, it affects most of her system, including her liver, her heart, her arteries, and her vessels. Her immune system is very compromised, and I've just started with oils. This is so helpful. I am so glad to hear that you have started with oils. And one of the things that I would recommend for you particularly and for your child is to make sure that you have them on DDR Prime. Remember, that's the damaged DNA repair blend. That is going to be very helpful just to support her overall, all of her systems. Another thing that's going to be very helpful for her is Balance essential oil. That can be very supportive of using the Balance and using it on the bottoms of her feet every day. You look up, in fact, I challenge you guys to look up Balance essential oil and how it affects the blood. And I won't get into it in detail now. I want you to look that up, and you will be pretty blown away in how supportive Balance essential oil it can be for all your systems. So, and just so you know, some of you are sending in questions privately that I can just see alone, which is totally fine. So I'll answer those as well. So if you'd like everybody to be able to see your question, you can type it in to everyone. But for the private ones, you can, that's fine as well, and I just won't use your name. So I have somebody asking me, what is the difference between doTERRA essential oils, Young Living essential oils, and Amio? I think I'm saying that correctly. So, you know, here's the thing that I would say and how I would respond to that. Those are all good companies, okay? Young Living and Amio. I know more about Young Living than I do Amio. But those are good companies. They produce a good essential oil. But the reason that I exclusively use doTERRA is because of how doTERRA sources their oils. I know for a fact, and I am so confident in, their oils are the most therapeutic and pure. And so I feel most confident using that on my family. So hopefully that answers your question. So I have somebody typing in that their daughter was just diagnosed with an illness. It's basically an autoimmune illness. Sounds like oils can assist her body. What do you think? Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. When you are dealing with a dysfunction of the immune system, your body has to have the tools to support homeostasis. Homeostasis is balance. That's where we want our body. Okay, we want it to be in homeostasis. So when we have an autoimmune challenge, our body is all crazy and wacky and things are not functioning properly. So we have to give it the tools that it needs to support itself in getting back into homeostasis. So these oils will help support her symptoms that she deals with, as well as addressing the underlying cause. Somebody is asking about questions for or suggestions for diabetes. Yeah, absolutely. And again, as I answer these questions, I just want to remind you guys again that these oils are not going to cure or treat, right? And I say that over and over because I want to remain compliant in honor of, what I'm able to say and not say. And the FDA doesn't want us making a whole lot of claims about essential oils treating and healing diseases because that's what medicine is for. So just as a reminder, we're using these oils to support our body. So for diabetes, there's actually quite a few different things that you can use. I would recommend starting with the immune support blend daily on the bottoms of your feet because you need a super strong immune system when you're trying to, again, bring healing to the body and support homeostasis. I would use On Guard and Wild Orange over your pancreas 3 times a day. That's going to help control blood sugar levels. I would also put lemon in your water regularly to help detoxify, and cinnamon essential oil along with geranium are also both very supportive of pancreatic health and function. So hopefully that answers your question and gives you a little bit of guidance. Looks like we have time for one more question. I see a few more in the private area. So I'm going to try to find a question that will best answer, best support most of you, I should say. How do you know when you are using too many oils? That's a good question. And I chose that because I get that question a lot. And I laugh because I told you if I did a webinar and walked you through our daily oil routine, you guys would be on here for hours and hours and hours. So how do you know when you are using too many oils? So, here's the thing. This is when common sense does come into play. I mentioned in the beginning that essential oils are very concentrated and you only need 1 drop at a time, right? 1 to 2 drops max. And if you're using it on an infant, you need less than that and it needs to be diluted. The reason you only need 1 to 2 drops is because they are so concentrated. Now, what if you're putting lemon in your water and lemon comes out very quickly and you accidentally get 4 or 5 drops? Are you going to die? You will not, I can assure you, and you're not going to spontaneously combust. Your body has an incredible mechanism of recognizing real from fake. So understand when we use a real, completely pure, whole substance, like a supplement or an oil, your body knows immediately what to do with it. And when it has too much, it gets rid of it. Now, when we use synthetic alternatives, your body doesn't know how to recognize it, so it ends up being stored as a toxin in your liver and kidneys. And so the beautiful thing about using a natural substance like essential oils is your body knows exactly what to do with it. So can you use too much? Absolutely. If you picked up your bottle of lemon and drank the whole thing, you would not feel well. So let common sense come into play, 1 to 2 drops at a time. But to give you a quick snippet, me alone in the mornings, my routine, I use Zendocrine on my liver and under my tongue every morning before I start my day. I use Claricom, which is a hormone balancing blend, over my ovaries and uterus to support healthy hormone function. I use Immortelle, which is an amazing magic, I call it magic blend because it helps with wrinkles and bags and dark circles, and it's just really supportive of healthy skin function. I use that every day on my face. I put on Wild Orange, Motivate and Cheer. I use the Immune Blend. I use the Healthy Superpower Blend that I'm going to be sending those of you who join. So you can recognize within the first couple hours of my day, oh, and I take DDR Prime as a supplement. So I'm getting a lot of oils in the beginning of my day. And I feel great and I'm doing really well. And so recognize again, everyone's biochemically individual. But if you practice common sense and if you're supported by a team that knows what they're doing and knows how to answer your questions, you will be really confident in knowing how many oils to use and when. So hopefully that answers your question. You guys, again, thank you so much for being on this call and for trusting me to help you. I am so passionate and so convicted that I have to get this information out there, that I will keep doing it and I will keep shouting it from the rooftops. And so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. You can check me out on Facebook at Season Johnson, also on Instagram as Season Johnson, and my website is seasonjohnson.com. You see below we have an email address, info@seasonjohnson.com, if you have any questions or concerns. But make sure to subscribe to our newsletter on seasonjohnson.com because I'm going to be launching more trainings. We're going to do a webinar coming up about diet. We're going to do one about detoxification. And I want to just make sure that if that's information that you want, that you have access to it. So thank you again. Thanks for being on. I hope you guys are empowered and that you share what you learned with other people. Have a beautiful day.